but that's how I was proposed to. It was a business relationship.
Living life every day, late at night.
That's love in China. That is love in China. It's all negotiations.
Right.
And maybe they're acceptable to what you do in your home country or what she does in her home country. It's all negotiations.
Right.
And I think that's a path when two people fall in love and start to spend the rest of their life together, is how to navigate those.
Right.
And culture, we've said before, culture is the biggest thing. And you gotta be respectful to their culture and hope that they're respectful to your culture. And then it becomes negotiated.
Right.
You know, will you accept this portion, whether we deal with finances this way, or do we have to do it this way? It's all negotiations.
Right. So I think in that case, while you are dating, there are something that you shouldn't overlook. You should try to understand these things, and you can try to navigate, because I think by the time you say, okay, we want to settle down together, you have reached a certain understanding, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go on ahead and get married, before you iron out these things, it is usually hard to change when you are in the marriage.
And don't think it's awkward. Maybe in your culture, your dating practices, we don't have to talk about that stuff. In China, people...
Yeah. So if you lose that window of negotiating...
I'll tell you how I got married. I didn't propose to her. She proposed to me.
Wow.
You know why?
Why?
I remember this day to this day. I was at work, she was at work, and then she called me up, why don't we go out to dinner tonight? I want to talk to you about something. And I was like, okay. So we met up at this diner in Shanghai. And we sat there, ordered dinner, and started, so what do you want to talk about? And this is where the Chinese mentality is, negotiations.
Right.
I think we should get married. And I was like going, what?
Yeah.
Well, see, my mom and dad have a house on this place in Shanghai.
Right.
And they're getting ready to take it on down. So if we get married, we can put your name on the docket and we can get some more money from the government.
The government,
So it was just negotiation.
Like a business transaction.
Exactly. Everything is negotiable.
Right.
We were dating for 2 years.
Yeah,
and
but
obviously we were planning on this. We really not got down to the details, but that's how I was proposed to. It was a business relationship.
Right,
it was just strictly...
But it didn't sound off or weird because you have been dating for 2 years.
Not only that,
kind of like, okay.
Because I've been in China so long, you realize the first rule of anything is everything's negotiable.
Right.
And that comes with love, that comes with business, that comes with anything. Everything is negotiable.
Right. And also the good thing about this is you had a good understanding of these things. I can imagine like if you were just coming to China and a sort of things happen, because in America it will not happen like this, right? You would be like, what?
Exactly.
What's going on? You'll be surprised, and probably you say no, because you don't understand why this proposal is just coming out like that, right? But for you having that's why I say it's very important for all men who are watching this, that when you want to marry here, it's important, like you mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's important to understand the culture.
Exactly.
Understand the culture, and after that, I think you navigate through, and a lot of stuff will be easy on you.
Oh, much easier.
Yeah.
And I'll even give you one more bonus story. In China, you have to get your marriage certificate. That's actually before the ceremony. The ceremony and marriage certificate are two different things.
Yeah, are separate.
So after I got proposed to, which was great, and that whole proposal was, we spent the next 2 hours just discussing things. It was just like a business meeting. Discussing things. What
like
we're going to do. Steps next. We got to get a house. We got to do this. Where we're going to stay. It was just all business meeting. A week later, she's at work. I'm at work. It was Thursday.
Right.
She goes, all right, let's go get married.
How did you feel?
We talked about it.
You already talked about it, so you were kind of like...
because the business meeting already took care of all that stuff.
Right.
So it was the next Thursday.
You need to seal the deal.
So no, we had to go get our marriage certificate. So we turned around and for lunch.
Right.
At her lunch break and in my lunch break. We went on over to the government building. We paid her, what was it 20
yuan.
20 some odd kwai things.
Yeah.
Got our pictures taken, got our marriage certificates, gave her a kiss. I said, gotta go back to work. All right, bye.
It was so fun.
That's love
We
in
meet
China.
at home.
That is love in China.
I can kind of relate because for me, of course, my husband, I was a student here, right? That time we met, I was still a student at Shandong University. And I was actually planning to go back home. Honestly, I didn't want to stay here. So my husband proposed to me like 6 months before their graduation, because during this time I've been telling him that I'm gonna go. And for me, honestly, I didn't know whether I wanted to get married and whether I wanted to stay in China. I was dating him, yes, I loved him, yes, but I wasn't, I didn't see ourselves getting married, So I was already talking about this all the time when it was towards my time to graduate and leave. So I think this one day he just realized that, I think she's going to go. And at that time, I haven't met his family too.
Yeah.
So that day he just came with a ring and with a couple of his friends, and we went to eat and he just proposed. And I'm like, what? Because I didn't see any signs. I was not ready. It was not in my head. So it took me time to actually figure what was happening here. So I said yes. But then I had the questions because while we were dating, a lot of people asked me, did you meet his family? And that's when I get to learn that the family approval here is very important. Yes. So I also remember after he proposed, I asked Nick. I asked Nick, I want you to do a background check on my boyfriend. Yeah, I did. That's crazy, guys, because these are some of the things I overlook. I didn't, Chris, I didn't know whether I didn't have those plans, actually. So I just said to Nick, I want to do some government background check for my husband, just check whether he's clean or what. And he did for me. So it's something that gave me kind of I believe okay, it's okay. I can understand him. So after he proposed, then I said, the next stage, I want to meet your family, because I know it's important for you guys here. I want to meet them before I can make my actual decision on this. So he said he already spoke to his family. They know about me and they were hoping to meet me, but he didn't know how to lay this on me. To tell me this, how he didn't know. So 2 weeks after that, I met the family. And they were so happy to meet me. We went to a restaurant. They were so happy. We ate together, and they welcomed me. So after that, we started arranging the marriage. And me telling my family, because I had kept it a secret. I didn't share it because I didn't want it to go, I didn't see the future together then. So it's different. It's different. And then we get to go to that marriage office, like you're saying, to sign the certificate. And the different now part, I think your culture, from your country, I don't know if it's something that you have done for your wife here. Like in my culture, as a woman, African culture, you have to pay a bride price. Yeah. I don't know if you know about that or you've ever heard of that. The family requires that.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah. So my husband said, in China, we also have something like that. But we give to the bride, they give to me. I'm like, no, my culture is different. You have to give to my father. You are appreciating and you want his approval and he accepts you in the family. So he did that. So after that, I had to talk to before we signed the marriage certificate, I told him, if I'm going to sign that marriage certificate, my family has to be well aware and approve of this marriage. So we have to go through these steps. For my tradition, you have to honor this. So he did that very fast. He spoke to the parents. And they say, we know in China it's there, but I said cultures are different. So they say, so tell us, how do you want us to go about it? Who should we meet? I know it's a short time for us to fly to Zimbabwe right now. So how can we do it? So I spoke to my cousin and my cousin helped us. He went to speak to my dad about it and my dad was okay. But at first he was not okay with that. Say, I have to meet him here. If he really wants to get married to you, he has to come here. To ask me for your hand in marriage here. So I'm like, no, but we are very far from each other. So he came around finally, then the wedding time, then okay. So he settled it. He did understand that, okay, we are different cultures. So he just said to, So for you as a man, you are marrying a Chinese woman, what are you expected to do when that time comes?
Honestly, it's different every place because Shanghai is different from Beijing. Beijing's different from Dongbei. Dongbei is different from Shandong.
So all places are
All
different. They have
places, it
different
really
cultures.
depends on, like, even from Sichuan. I mean, it really depends. That goes back to communication.
Right.
There's a lot of things. If you don't speak the language and you don't understand the culture, you're going to be relying on your partner for, and the communications there.
Yeah.
What are the things I need to be aware of? What are the stuff that I need to do? What are these things?
Before I meet your parents, what
Yes.
should I come with?
And
How
those-
do they judge me? And
Exactly.
Right.
And if your significant other says, "Oh, don't worry about it," no, press them. Find out everything
from
you do.
other people as
Yes,
well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because you can only make a first impression once.
Right. You can't come back and say, okay, I'm rewriting what you know about me.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so it's, so were there that part of like a dowry, paying the bride price to the bride or to the family?
Like I said, that
No, I mean, in your case.
in my case right there, it was a little bit different. Right? Ours was, it was, like I said,
Oh, it was scrapped.
it was more business. I gave a nice chunk of change to the father for our investment into the future, quote unquote.
All right.
So I gave a chunk of change, and then they turned around, put it in the stock market, or did whatever they wanted to do.
With it.
Ultimately, all that money would come back to us, but it's...
All right. So it was a different, in a
it's-
different way, but you did in a different way.
Sure.
Right. But it was also a way of connecting two families.
Yes.
So that is there, you recognize it as well. So yes, like what Chris is saying, guys, you have to take note of this. Also understand where your wife comes from, because if you say your wife is Chinese, it doesn't mean that they follow the same tradition. So each part has its own that is maybe totally different, right? Maybe in Chris' case, he did this, but in another part, they may not accept this. They have a special kind of custom they would like you to do. So you have to find out before you come to the time, because you can't get away with like, I'm not a Chinese or I'm foreigner. You can't. You need to have that impression. And also it's something that they will always remember you for. They will respect you for that as well, or they will disrespect you for that. That first thing that is important to them, you have to at least find out, make an effort to try to acknowledge some of these things, right?
Well, it goes back to what we first said. Understanding the language as much as you can, and especially the culture. And that goes to asking questions, understanding, talking to different people. Well, what's this like? What's that like? How is it different from my culture?
Right.
And one thing that I will suggest is everybody has their own culture. When you come to China, it's different. But don't take your prejudices, don't take your ideas and somehow look down upon it. Just appreciate it for what it is.
Right. And also accept that they may not accept your ideologies or your ways of doing things. You may...
Especially we're here in China.
Right.
When you go to Rome, do as Romans.
Do what Romans do. Yeah, some things may
It's-
work in your country, but may not work here.
True.
So you have to understand that, to say, okay, but in my country we do it like this way. Just know you are not in your country, you are in China. And especially you want to get married to a Chinese person, then be flexible, be able or be ready to compromise
Yes.
in a lot of things. Yeah, although you say, I can't do this, I can't handle this, but if you are making that decision to marry out of your race, it also means you can compromise. There are a lot of you can compromise. I'm sure if you compromise, they can compromise too.
Not compromise,
Oh.
negotiate.
Negotiate.
Negotiate. It's all negotiable.
Negotiable. Yeah, like,
it's-
see, okay.
It's all negotiable.
I can't go all the way, but let's meet halfway. So you are comfortable, they are comfortable. But
I've never
sometimes
seen a
no.
50-50. I've never seen a 50-50.
Seriously?
Never.
So,
The best case you're going to get is a 60-40. Best case is 60-40.
my goodness.
Maybe on certain other topics, it's a 90-10. But you're never going to get a 50-50.
It's hard.
No.
It's hard. So yeah, so
It's
just be
non-negotiable.
ready for that, guys. You are hearing from the man, right? Maybe on the female side, it's kind of different. I think it's kind of different. Also, looking at some aspects, when you look at Chinese men, the way they would treat the women, sometimes they have that lenience. You know what I'm saying? They have that soft spot that sometimes I may say, I want this. Just for the sake of my happiness, he will say, okay. But he doesn't want, but you will say, okay. So you find that for the man side, yeah, you have to be strong on your, like it's a transaction, it's a business thing. You have to air your opinions on it, right? Set them there. But how about if in case there's a disagreement, how do you solve issues in situations like that with Chinese women?
First thing is try and never have a disagreement with a Chinese woman. At all costs, avoid it.
Try to avoid it. But
At
how?
all costs.
Because they do happen. If they happen, how should you handle it? Walk away?
No,
if you walk away,
no,
you may
no.
be screamed at.
Exactly. See, it's different for most people. I mean, every person's different. But it goes back to the one-child policy.
Right.
When you have this one person that's been raised by 6 people, they have this certain thing that I'm a little princess.
Like
I want to throw my temper tantrum now, and if you don't play with me, for instance, if I turned around and just got up and walked away, my wife would be even more mad.
Right.
If I didn't talk to her, if I didn't argue with her, it would get her more mad. She just wants to, and this is not for everybody, but when she wants to argue, she wants to just get it all out of her system. I'm over, I'm done. I don't care what horrible things I said. I don't care what everything. I got it out of my system. I'm done. I'm better. Okay, let's go on.
Right. So it's game on with things.
And
but I would say
and any time that a confrontation happens, it always goes nuclear. It always goes nuclear.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's not
No
like
control.
a little. We're having a disagreement and we're having a discussion and no. It goes from 0 to 60 inside 1 second.
Yeah. I've seen things like it's also you should also remember that it doesn't just happen on interracial marriages. It does happen even Chinese and Chinese.
Oh, lots of Chinese people. Oh,
they
yes.
can do it on the street right
Yes.
now. You can see people start to fight,
Oh, yes.
exchanging words. They can do it anywhere, literally anywhere. You know, I know in most countries, like maybe my country and your country, when such things like we are having a disagreement, sometimes we may want to take it privately.
Not in China.
Go home,
Not in
discuss
China.
about this, or we say, okay, we are disagreeing now. We're gonna talk about it when we get home, right, in private. But in China, no, don't expect that to be a case you settle at home. It's where it happens. It's gonna be something's gonna
It
go
doesn't
down
matter if
there.
it's in the middle of a shopping mall, if it's in a
park,
grocery store, in a bar. When it goes on, it goes on.
Yeah, and it has to be settled there, right there. Yeah. So, which a lot of men will find it embarrassing.
No face.
You lose face.
You lose
Yes.
face.
So be ready for that, guys. If you come to China, don't be surprised. And if you want to get married to a Chinese woman, don't be surprised if such things happen to you. It's quite normal. Right? It's quite normal.
Once you understand the culture, you just go with the flow.
Yeah. Go with the flow. Like if you can beat them, join them. Right? You can't beat them. So what is the secret to, I know you have been married for over 10 years.
Yeah, 12, 13 years.
13 years, yeah. So some people like, is it possible to be married for that long? What is the secret? Because some people think, okay, if you are talking about these fights, these tantrums, this what, can this marriage stay that longer? So what is the secret to have a marriage stretch that long?
I think everybody's different, but I believe that communication,
Right.
trust, and understanding are
Essential things.
essential. Understanding is going back to 2 different cultures. You got to put in the time, put in the effort, try to understand where they're coming from. What's their thought process? Why are they different from mine? It may not be that they're saying something different. It's just something that you don't understand because of the cultural difference, how to accept. So understanding is a huge part. Communication, talk to them, understand what you're thinking, learn.
Don't keep things in your heart.
Trust. Just trust the person. If the person's out with their friends, they're out with their friends. Don't think too much into it.
Right.
I mean, you can't go into a relationship without trusting an individual.
Right.
I think those are
the major
things.
secrets of staying this long in a relationship. Yeah, just like any other culture.
Any
I think,
other culture.
Yeah, there's no much difference
No.
when you want to last longer. So trust, communicate, and
Trust, communication, and understanding.
In understanding, yes. I think understanding is major, especially in interracial marriages.
Yes.
It's understanding is major because there are a lot of things like we grew in different cultures, right? There are a lot of things that we are not accustomed to. Like you grew up doing this stuff and now you are coming in this culture. You're gonna have a lot of things that are shocking to you. But if you understand that, okay, this is where I'm putting myself, this is what I want, you try to understand how to deal with those new things in your life.
And just understand it's different from your culture. It's just different.
It's different.
It's not good. It's not bad. It's just different. It's
yeah,
just
I
different.
appreciate your culture and just go with it. I think you have...
Not that my culture is bad, good or bad. It's just that it's my culture.
Different.
It's just different.
It's just different. Yes, that's right. Thank you so much for coming to my channel today and at least answer most of what the questions I've been asked with people that I didn't have any answers to give because I didn't know actually. I didn't know. So I promised them I'm going to find somebody who is married to a Chinese woman. Maybe they can give you a better reply or give you a better insight of these things because I didn't know honestly. Like as you can notice now, if you go on, if you haven't watched that video, I'll link it to this one. You can see that Chinese men and Chinese women are totally different. There are things that are different.
Men and women are different.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you're Chinese or not. Men and women are different.
Yeah, they are. Like what you were saying. Like I was saying, oh, me and my husband, we didn't have this. Oh, I didn't experience this. You are right. So there are different things. So and also even if Chris experiences, they may be different with yours.
True.
Also, like we say, China is a big country and there are different ethnicity groups, right, here, and different provinces, different cities. So they come with their own traditions, right? So, but if you just take everything, like you just welcome the differences, like what Chris said, you're going to love it and you will have less problems. That's all I can say. So thank you so much, Chris, for coming to my channel.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, I hope you come back again next time. And maybe I'll have other difficult questions. I'll find Chris again to answer them, okay? But I hope all your worries have been answered in this video. So yeah, it's goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next video.